My life seems to involve a lot of running around. I own a contemporary art gallery in Los Angeles, and most of my time is spent building my business. But after a crazy day, my favorite way to unwind is not vegging out in front of the TV, but diving right into a soothing project at home. Usually that involves experimenting in the kitchen, tending to my garden, and being inspired by all of the amazing things that my city has to offer. My name is Heather Taylor, and although I'm a multitasking businesswoman, what I really crave is a return to the simple pleasures in life. Tonight, I'm cooking dinner for one of my artists, Jeana Sohn, who also happens to be a really good friend. By making dessert ahead of time and simply assembling the rest, there's going to be almost nothing to do when I get home from work. This is an easy but impressive weeknight dinner party. You know, having people over for dinner on a weeknight does not have to be exceptionally scary or difficult. There's really simple things that you can do to still make a very special meal. Here's the plan for tonight. We're going to make an heirloom tomato and plum salad, which we're going to serve alongside a beautiful cheese and charcuterie platter. And for dessert, we're going to have watermelon granita. Okay, let's start with the salad. First thing we're going to do is cut these plums and tomatoes into just larger than bite-sized wedges. You want about 1 tomato and 1 plum per person. First time I had this salad was at this really cute, like kind of hippy-dippy surfer restaurant in San Francisco called Outer Lands. And I knew right away that I wanted to recreate it at home because it's just such an unusual combination. I've never had plums and tomatoes together. Once you have the tomatoes and plums cut up and in the bowl, you're just going to top it with a little bit of arugula. I always love to have a little bit of green in my salad. I think it's just so fresh and nice. Right before Jeana gets here, I'm gonna dress it with a little bit of my homemade dressing, but that's it. Salad's done. Gonna set it aside. All we have to do is assemble our cheese and charcuterie platter. Easy as pie. So when I'm doing a cheese platter like this, especially if it's for the main course, I like to do 1 goat, 1 cow, 1 sheep. Just a really nice variety, all different textures. It just kind of, I feel like I cover all my bases. Something that I like to do is to cut all of the little pieces of cheese into small, kind of bite-sized slices so my guests can just grab. They don't have to worry about messing around with reaching across the table with a knife. Just simple, make it easy on everyone. Okay, just start piling the cheese on the platter. Okay, now we have to worry about our meats. I picked up a bresaola, a soppressata, and also a really great prosciutto, everyone's favorite. I think it's best just kind of to roll up the meats and just pile them alongside the cheeses. No big deal. So of course with your meats and cheeses, you're gonna need some killer breads. I picked up a raisin walnut loaf, a traditional French baguette, and some flat breads that are brushed with olive oil and sprinkled with a little bit of sea salt. My inspiration came from a dinner party I went to this past summer, and this was the whole meal. I'm used to having a cheese plate as an appetizer, or maybe after the meal for dessert, but this was the entree. And I thought it was so cool. You leave and you don't feel too full, you have room for dessert. I think it's a great way to eat. So that's pretty much it. Our bread is sliced, our meats, cheeses, everything's cut up. The finishing touch, I think, to a killer cheese and charcuterie plate is 1 thing that's salty and 1 thing that's sweet. Today, our salty is gonna be black olives with garlic, and our sweet is gonna be Tupelo honey. It's gonna be so perfect. I love to finish off a meal like this with something sweet, and I know that Jeana has a legendary sweet tooth. So before I left for work this morning, I made a fresh and healthy watermelon granita. Along with being one of Jeana's favorite desserts, it takes next to no time to put together. First step, make some simple syrup. That's 1 cup of sugar to 1 cup of water over medium heat until the sugar dissolves. While that cools, get your fruit chopped up. In this case, we're using watermelon. Cut into small pieces and blend in batches until smooth. If the fruit's misbehaving, just add a touch of water. Pour the blended fruit into a large baking dish and add the zest of 1 lemon. Mix in half the cooled simple syrup and taste. Add more if needed. Stick it in the freezer and rake over with a fork after it's been in there for about an hour or 2 and is slightly frozen. You'll fluff it again when you get home from work and maybe even once more before serving. You want it to be light and soft, but don't go crazy. It's going to be delicious regardless. I love to serve this in martini glasses alongside shortbread cookies. dessert cheers. The best times.